This is before the pitch where you can love New York baseball no matter what shade of blue you are wearing. There's oftentimes talk about baseball marketing and how MLB needs to do a better job at showing their players and showing their teams and appealing to the broader audience, etc., etc. Today, we would like to compare MLB marketing to other sports marketing and see exactly how me and Billy would adjust the marketing strategies and commercial making if we were the ones who were in charge. There is a lot to get to, so I'm just going to dig right into it. In my humble opinion, there are two things that MLB needs to do in order to stretch its outreach. One, get into kids programming, and two, advertise non-baseball products. Let's start with kids marketing. MLB has notable struggles attracting younger audience, and they need to do so in order to replenish the fans that are aging and soon maybe unable to get to the games for many different reasons, especially after COVID, when people will be a lot slower, especially those most vulnerable who would be the majority of baseball's fan base, may not want to go out into public into large crowds. Let's look at the NBA, which conveniently is playing basketball in Orlando right outside of Disney, so there's a marketing pull right there. It also has Space Jam 2 coming out soon, which even though it's already still tied to a kid's property in the Looney Tunes because of Space Jam 1. And it has players appear on shows like SpongeBob, which Anthony Davis did earlier this year. The NFL this year will actually be broadcasting a playoff game on Nickelodeon with kid-friendly announcers who will be making the content palatable, which is an absolute genius idea. They're also involved with kids in their Play 60 programs, and they sponsor youth flag football leagues. But the undisputed king of getting involved in kids media is easily the WWE, which are heavily involved in Nickelodeon, including the Kids' Choice Awards. They have many crossovers into kids shows like Scooby-Doo. They even have a recent sitcom, a family sitcom, featuring The Big Show on Netflix called The Big Show Show, which is actually quite heartwarming, if I do say so myself. They're even venturing into their own cartoon. They're having a Rey Mysterio cartoon series where he's kind of a superhero, set to appear in Cartoon Network Latin America. I would be shocked if that didn't catch on and they start moving it to Cartoon Network in North America. And shout out to NASCAR for their cartoon series that they had way back in 2001. I just felt like I had to mention it. Most recently, they actually do have Jiminy Johnson on a Mickey's Roadster Racers on the Playhouse Disney. I think now it's called Disney Junior. They have also had drivers show up in the Cars franchise, specifically Jeff Corvette, Chase Race-A-Lot, and Ryan Inside Laney Jr., as well as Daryl Cartrip. And oftentimes they have the drivers voice their own characters. You can also very easily find NASCAR in the Hot Wheels aisle of any toy store. What? Don't judge me. I personally have not seen MLB players in kids media more recently than Albert Pujols showing up on Sesame Street in 2014. Maybe more exist, but I haven't seen them. By the way, Sesame Street's supposed to take place in New York City. Why have we not seen any recent Yankees or Mets appear on it? And it wasn't always this way. Randy Johnson used to be on Disney Channel quite a bit when he had a quick instructional video on how to throw a fastball in a Diamondbacks uniform. And he also appeared on an episode of The Jersey. MLB also used to have the Backyard Baseball video games, which has been dead for a long time. It just seems like every other major sports league has found ways to show their players and faces and uniforms into kids media while MLB hasn't. The second category that MLB is lacking in is advertising non-baseball products. NASCAR is easy at this because their sponsors appear on the car. Likewise, drivers appear in their sponsors' commercials. Famous ones include Dale Earnhardt Jr. doing Nationwide Insurance, Chase Elliott, who continues to do Mountain Dew today, and the insanely catchy Napa Know-How songs. Fans of a certain age will remember Jeff Gordon being on Pepsi bottles and vending machines. Fun story, Aaron Judge is endorsed by Pepsi, and he doesn't appear on any of the marketing, especially not to the extent that Jeff Gordon was. The only bit that you see Aaron Judge on Pepsi is he's appearing on a cup on Jersey Mike's, but he's not even wearing a Yankee uniform on it. Oh, and Mike Trout did Subway. Bet you don't even remember that. NBA players like Chris Paul advertise State Farm Insurance, and other players have shown up in Foot Locker, Nike, and Under Armour commercials. Bryce Harper is endorsed by Under Armour, or at least I think he still is. I don't know. I haven't seen him at an Under Armour advertisement since like 2017. And the NFL comes at this angle very aggressively, since Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes are in State Farm commercials very often. Baseball did have an insurance commercial 10 years ago with Randy Johnson and Geico. Peyton Manning, as we know, advertises everything. But here's where the NFL goes really heavy. They advertise chips, snacks, and beer with not NFL players, but normal people watching the games on TV wearing jerseys, much like what I'm doing right now. This is important because NFL is selling the jersey they're wearing, encouraging fans to wear the jerseys by normalizing them watching the game while having their jerseys on, and showing them have a great time doing that while consuming the product that's being advertised, like oftentimes Tostitos. MLB advertisements have gotten better with showing players in their jerseys, but they never show fans in jerseys, and they're never watching MLB games. I almost never see them advertise products other than simply advertising MLB. Like usually they'll advertise opening day, the All-Star game, and the playoffs, but that's really it. This is important because you can walk through a grocery store and you will see NFL logos and NFL related foods all over the place. You don't really see any MLB logos or MLB related foods except maybe Cracker Jacks. Let's compare two commercials trying to advertise the return of their respective sport from COVID in the year 2020. MLB has two of them. They are called The Return, in parentheses, MLB is back, and Welcome Back, Let's Play. Both of these do a good job showing players' faces. They show the uniforms, and they show some cool highlights of some really cool swings, some cool catches, and some cool throws, and some really kind of upbeat background music, probably just made for the commercial. Now let's compare that to the NFL return announcement called NFL and ESPN, It's All Coming Back to Me. You've probably seen this on cable because they show it a lot. This commercial not only shows the players in the uniforms playing football, like MLB, but it's also over a very recognizable Celine Dion song, some celebrity cameos, including a speaking role by Peter Griffin from Family Guy, and clips from Disney's The Lion King, the cartoon that everybody likes, and not the live action one that doesn't actually exist. And most importantly, fans at home, sometimes even dancing, wearing the jersey and watching the game on TV. All of these things make the NFL feel personal, and it makes it feel welcome into the home. So after really thinking about it and doing some more research, I've added to the list of things baseball needs to do. I still maintain that number one is getting the kids programming. I still also maintain that number two is about advertising non-baseball products. But the third element I'm going to add to that list is show fans watching the game in gear. Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure you comment, subscribe, and give it a share. Hopefully get some attention to some MLB guys. By the way, I'm up for hire, and we are not endorsed by Pepsi, but would totally like to be.